Close your eyes and imagine the earth. But erase everything you know about it. Erase the cities, the roads, the ruins of ancient empires. Erase the footprints of the first humans. Turn the clock back, not by centuries, not by millennia, but by eons. We are entering a time known in Islamic cosmology as the Azal, the deep past. The planet is volatile. The tectonic plates are shifting, the volcanoes are roaring, and the atmosphere is thick with a heat that would scorch human skin in seconds. It is a terrifying, beautiful, silent world. There is no Adam, there is no Eve, there is no humanity. But the earth was not empty. Hidden within the dusty pages of the great chronicles of Islam, in the meadows of gold by Al-Masudi and the lives of the prophets by Al-Tha'labi, lies a story that has been whispered for over 1,000 years. It is the story of the Adam before Adam, the first vicegerent of this planet. He was not molded from wet clay or sticky mud. He was forged from the very breath of the inferno. His name was Somia. Today, we are opening the archives on the father of the Jinn. Who was he? What did he look like? And what terrifying secrets did he whisper to the Creator that defined the world of the supernatural forever? Before we step into this fire, we must ground ourselves. The story of Sumeia is not found in the verses of the Quran or the Sahih Hadith. This narrative belongs to the world of Akhbar and Isra'iliyat, ancient historical reports preserved by Muslim scholars to interpret the gaps in history. Scholars like Ibn Abbas, the cousin of the Prophet, hinted at these errors when explaining the verse where the angels ask Allah, "Will you place on earth those who spread corruption and shed blood?" How did the angels know what bloodshed was if Adam hadn't been created yet? They knew because they had watched the life of Somia. To understand the Jinn, you must understand their father, and to understand the father, you must understand his ingredients. When Allah decided to populate the earth, thousands, some sources say 60,000, years before Adam, He commanded the creation of Somia. But Allah did not use nur, light, like the angels, nor tin, clay, like us. He used the Samum. Now, pay attention to this word. In the Quran, the Jinn are often described as being made from marij, a smokeless flame. But specifically regarding the father of the Jinn, the texts use the word Samum. Al-Masudi describes this substance as a poison fire. It is a mixture of intense heat and wind that penetrates the pores. It is volatile. It is unstable. It is energy in its rawest, most dangerous form. When Somia was breathed into existence from this scorching wind, he was not a ghost. He was a physical entity, but his density was different from ours. He was a being of vibration and heat. And upon his creation, a dialogue took place that would rewrite the laws of physics for his species. Al-Tha'labi records this chilling interaction. Allah, the master of the worlds, addressed this newly formed creature standing in the primordial wasteland. "O Somia," Allah asked, "what do you desire?" Somia did not ask for palaces. He did not ask for gold. He looked at his own nature, this nature of wind and fire, and he made 3 specific requests that would become the genetic code of his entire race. First, he said, "I desire that we may see, but not be seen." He asked for the veil. He asked to exist in a spectrum of light that the future inhabitants of Earth would be blind to. This is why, to this day, the Jinn are the hidden ones. Al-Jinn literally means that which is concealed. They are the observers, and we are the observed. Second, he said, "I desire that we may vanish into the moist earth." This is a matter of physics. Somia asked for permeability. He wanted his children to be able to sink into the solid ground, to move through the tectonic plates, to inhabit the soil and the rock just as easily as humans walk through air. This is why Jinn are often found in caves, underground, and within the walls of ruins. Third, he said, "I desire that our old become young." This is the most fascinating biological difference. Humans wither, we age, our cells decay, and we become frail until we die. Somia asked that his energy not decay. When a jinn ages, they do not become weak, they cycle back to vitality until the appointed moment of their death. They die, yes, but they do not wither. Allah granted these wishes, and with that, the archetype of the jinn was complete. But a father cannot build a world alone. Just as Hawa, Eve, was created from Adam to be his comfort, the traditions state that Allah created a mate for Somia. Legends tell us she was created from the marriage, the smokeless flame of Somia's own essence. While Adam and Eve were placed in paradise before coming to earth, Somia and his mate were born for the wild earth. They were the pioneers of this planet. They began to multiply. And this is where the metaphysics of the jinn gets interesting. Because they are made of fire and air, their reproduction is described as dense and rapid. They populated the plains, the mountains, and the valleys. Al-Masudi notes that in these early days, this golden era of Somia, the jinn were not demons. They were not evil. They were a monotheistic nation. They worshipped Allah. They looked up at the stars and glorified their creator. Somia was not just a king. He was a patriarch, a guide, leading his fiery children in prayer on a silent planet. So, what did this world look like? If you could travel back in a time machine to the era of Somia, what would you see? You wouldn't just see jinn. You would see a biodiversity of spirits that has been lost to history. Al-Masudi provides us with a taxonomy of the creatures that lived alongside Somia. The earth was inhabited by different nations of created beings. There were the Jinn, described in folklore as elemental creatures, perhaps dog-like or low to the ground, made of the earth's magnetism. There were the Bin, creatures of the water and the mud, dwelling in the primordial oceans. And there were the Tim and the Rim, entities of the wind and the desolate places. Somia was the master of them all. His children, the jinn, were the superior intellect. They organized these chaotic elemental forces. It was a time of balance. The fire did not burn the earth, it warmed it. The wind did not destroy, it circulated. Imagine a civilization built not of brick and mortar, but of energy and light. Some legends in the Kitab al-Buldan hint that Somia's children learned to manipulate the minerals of the earth, creating dwelling places within the mountains and under the seas, unseen by the naked eye. For centuries, perhaps millennia, Somia ruled. He was the Adam who did not eat from the forbidden tree. He established a lineage that covered the face of the earth. But fire is a volatile element. Unlike clay, which is stable and grounded, fire must consume to survive. As Somia eventually passed away, for every soul must taste death, he left behind a vast, sprawling population of powerful, invisible beings. And without the guidance of their father, the children of Somia began to look at one another, not with brotherhood, but with envy. The era of peace was ending. The era of the Jinn and the Bin was about to turn violent. And from the bloodline of Somia, a new figure was about to emerge. Not a father, but a tyrant. A king who would take the throne and drown the world in blood. His name was Jan ibn Jan. But the story of the first Jinn War is a story for the next video. This was the beginning. The story of Somia reminds us that we are not the first tenants of this property we call Earth. We are the successors. And looking at the history of those who came before us is the only way to ensure we do not meet their same fate. And as always, regarding the mysteries of the unseen and the history of the ancients, Allah knows best.